Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there. Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. We want to thank our newest patrons.
Yes, a huge thank you to Nick and Mary.
Yes, again, exclusives going up over there each week, sometimes as many as 3 or 4, other times 1 or 2. But exclusives every week over on Patreon. Again, you can join us for as little as $1 a month, even less, 90 cents a month, $10.80 for a complete year of exclusives. It does keep us going, and we just did this one, and perhaps our most important update yet. Yeah, it was a big one. This Cindy was getting tons of info coming in today from the Galactics about the next step and everything. And absolutely, we are going to a much heightened level at this point in time. So join us and come check it out. As we see here, we had a 6.4 earthquake. This is 41 kilometers east-southeast of Molina, Chile. Ooh, this 6.4... well, got the house rocking and rolling here. Oh, Santa is down. Santa is down.
Santa is down, and kudos to that person for having a very clean house.
You know, yeah, I'm not one to live in the city. My mom lived in an 8th floor apartment, and she absolutely loved it. It's not for me, but we are very, very different people. Each one of us unique. This is calling a 6.1, USGS 6.4. Definitely shaking things up at the mall.
Oh, I would be terrified.
Meanwhile, I don't remember seeing a lot of tornado warnings for San Francisco area. But yes, there is a tornado warning in effect. This is northern San Mateo County, including portions of downtown San Francisco. Take shelter immediately. Anything could happen in these times. After all, we are in the apocalypse. The great unveiling.
That's just really odd for that area in California. I've heard of them, but for them to throw out a warning like this, it kind of took me back a little. I'm like, oh my gosh, what are they doing now?
Ask Elon back on September 29th, 2024. He said drone swarm battles are coming that will boggle the mind. Hey, did he know? Of course he knows. He knows the whole script.
Boggle.
Yeah, I mean, you know, again, we should take them kind of at face value here. This is the city of Cleveland. So says this post. It looks like balloons floating just randomly in the air, but are they balloons? In these times, you know, again, so much could be CGI. There's a helicopter in the area. You got to question everything, but, you know, just take note and sense into things. I'm not sure how much I trust this one, but it's everywhere. Everywhere you look. This is the big drones or UAPs. Those two words, it used to be UFOs. You know, these are what everybody's looking up right now. Mystery drone sparks fury on Capitol Hill. 3,000 tips sent to the FBI. Everywhere you look. My Jersey home was menaced by 30 drones in one night. Ah, yes, as you see, all sorts of different drones out there. Former FBI counter-drone specialist warns it would be dangerous to shoot down the UFOs. Dangerous to shoot down the UFOs, yeah, and then again, senators expressed frustration over Biden's lack of transparency on drones. Tips, denial. Secret Service confirms drones are not there. What's going on? I mean, it's all confusion. And we got, hey, don't shoot them down. Well, President Trump says, yeah, let's shoot them down. Okay, so we have differing opinions here.
I don't know. It's a really big mess, but with any big mess and a lot of chaos, there's trickery involved.
Yeah, and it boggles my mind when I see people that have huge followings, and they'll classify the entirety of this whole situation, the drone and UAP, as one thing. This is Dr. Jacques Vallée. I read his books back in the 80s. This is actually on PBS from 1983. It might have been this interview that really motivated me back then to go get some of his books. If you saw me as a kid in high school, what was I reading? Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens, paranormal. This is just stuff I've always been into. Well, this is during the Watergate trials. False flag plans were uncovered, he says, for faking the second coming of Christ. Yeah, absolutely. And then what's interesting here, though, is that he is talking about how they use belief systems against us. We have belief systems used against us. They take advantage of our belief systems. It is also kind of mind-boggling when you look back and you realize people have their belief systems and they might totally not trust anything from NASA, let's say. Okay, we're not going to trust anything from NASA, but then ultimately they're trusting science that comes from the same group as NASA. Or they won't trust the royals, they won't trust the politicians, but then they trust the books that are given to us, the philosophies and religious systems that are given to us by the royals, by the political structure in play, which really is one political structure that has been doing this for thousands of years. Here's a great clear photo. I mean, it almost looks like it's a Christmas tree decoration or a flying Christmas tree. It's festive. Did somebody let the drones, makers know? Green and red, that's the colors for the holidays.
It's most appropriate.
Flashing red lights, it's perfect. Yeah. It is. So what's really going on here? Jim Ferguson here. He has a lot of followers too, and always talking geopolitical. And when I just wish people would understand when they're talking about freedom against the globalists, you should change that globalist word and say, freedom from the oppressive system, which is not even truly Homo sapiens sapiens ultimately. But that's the reveal that people can't handle. They just can't handle that. And there's so many people that at this point in time would say, oh, I can't listen to this guy. I got to click off of it because I know it's all just Project Bluebeam. That looks pretty solid to me. So, yeah, is it just probably a drone that maybe human hands put together? Pretty likely. I wouldn't doubt that at all. So I don't think that this is necessarily a projection from Bluebeam. Is it an alien invasion? Again, that's the big reveal. Those that have studied realize the alien invasion happened a long time ago. Look at this, all these lights. Now, yes, some things I think can be Bluebeam. Some things can be holographic. Although when you look at Bluebeam, it looks to me, when you really look at Bluebeam and you research Bluebeam deeply, it really looks to me like it was something that was seeded and planted by the system themselves. Because again, what if some extraterrestrials come along and they want to let the humans know that, hey, you're living on an alien ant farm and, you guys are being played? Well, they have to dissuade it. They have to have the ability to dissuade people from believing their own eyes. Now, some people are going to be so freaked out in these times because this is just starting. This is all just beginning. We're going into a full-fledged sci-fi movie here. And, Rama and Sita are chiming in, too. Listen to the reaction here. Just listen to this reaction. I mean, she's freaking out. She is freaking out. She's terrified. She is terrified, and rightly so, because this is not stuff that we've seen, all our lives. Cindy and I have seen things like this all our lives, but and a lot of you guys too. I want to say, if you are a member of this family, chances are pretty high that you are a contactee of one sort or a starseed yourself.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that poor thing. I mean, she's just absolutely terrified, and so many people are, and rightfully so, because they've been living their lives and just really probably content doing that, and then something like this shows up that's otherworldly, and what do you do with that? We've all we're all kind of in a place where there's something that we are not exposed to. So if you're exposed to that thing, having that reaction is normal, but I feel bad for her because I understand the terror. I've been there. I understand the terror of, oh my gosh, this is in my 3D world. This is not okay. So, putting a lot of people in fight or flight mode, and that's exactly what they want. And that's why when we did the live the other day, we did the grounding as well, because I don't want people in fight or flight mode. We really need to come together and work with each other and work through energy of love and peace and cooperation.
Yeah, I watched this 5 a.m. this morning, first cup of coffee. This was News Nation and had reported there. And he watched 40 or 50 of them in just like an hour, just an hour. Different drones, obviously not something that he was used to seeing in the past. And, you interview all these different sheriffs and law enforcement. They're very concerned. Many people are very concerned. And there's so many reports of them coming up out of the ocean or coming off the ocean. You have that member of the House of Representatives, Republican member, by the way, that was, saying there's a mothership off the, Atlantic seaboard. And, we did remote view, and Cindy got information that, there is a mothership in the, off the Atlantic coast of the United States. Now, the senator, or not senator, he was a representative. He said it was Iranian, and no, it's reptilian, but it is real, and so there is an extraterrestrial mothership there that is releasing some of these drones. Not all these drones are ET technology. And then you have these. Now you could say, well, that's probably Project Bluebeam. But, things like this have been filmed for many, many years. And in Charleston, Kiowa Island, there was one that was more oranges. A lot of times when you see this, it's just simply a person. It's a being. This is what a Merkaba light body does appear like. And in fact, when humans are outside of their physical body and we're no longer in the body, we are orbs. That's what our consciousness appears like to us embodied, if you're able to perceive it. So orbs ultimately are spirits, or you could say it's kind of like the soul component.
Right. These are ones that when I see these, a lot of it is the star family that I've been talking about. And there was a lot of star family that stayed behind with that moon that they called a moon that came here for 2 months and parked and then left. A lot of those beings stayed behind, and a lot of people are being contacted by their star family. This is this what you're seeing on the screen is a rather large representation of a star family, and it's trying to reach many people. See, they know when they're putting themselves in a place to be seen. They know when they're putting themselves in a place to be seen by only their family. So these beings are they're very smart. They know exactly what they're doing, and most of them are here to help.
Yeah, and there's been multiple reports of drones coming down, either crashing, landing, and then hazmat teams, everything goes, and they're not there. So what's up with that? Or we're told they're not there. They might have retrieved them. Who knows? I mean, I can't keep up with all these reports of things coming down and crashing or landing. and also people sending up drones to go meet the drones and getting close, and then they disappear. Okay, well, again, that would be positing more of a case towards a blue beam type of sighting. Again, there's multiple things in play. Not everything is a literal drone. Not everything is literally a Merkaba light body, or what we would call a disembodied being. There's many different things in play. In fact, I would say there's probably at least a handful of various things going on. Some of our own military. I wouldn't be surprised if there are Russian and Chinese drones as well, because obviously they're intent on kicking off WW3. So I do think there are real drones in play, and then others have talked about this being Space Force too. And what is really in Space Force? Space Force really came about during 45, the 45 regime. Now, the FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018 expires on December 20th in 6 days. And so, this person is saying, well, maybe they're doing this to create like a new Patriot Act for drones and UAPs. And obviously, we understand that logic. That's not hard to understand. That makes a ton of sense, but there's more than one thing going on here. As we see, the aerial craft witnessed flying over the East Coast is part of a managed, operated, and controlled by the Office of Global Access, the OGA, a branch of the CIA Science and Technology Directorate, established in 2003. Most of the OGA's operation involves stray nuclear weapons, downed satellites, or adversaries' technology. You can take this one to the bank. They're looking for something or someone on the East Coast and in one part of the West Coast. My guess is that submarine crossed over our SOSUS warning nets on either coast, and now there's an active manhunt for the sub and or ground-based mass casualty weapons hidden in a cargo container or automobile that was in the cargo container. Mission objectives of the OGA currently: deploy advanced surveillance assets to triangulate any communication indicative of the device's presence, coordinate with federal and local law enforcement to establish a rapid response framework, maintain civilian safety and minimize public panic while advancing intelligence operations. Assets in play: low-altitude surveillance aircraft actively monitoring cellular satellite communications, special operation units positioned for rapid deployment on confirmation of target location, cyber intelligence teams engaged in deep dive analysis of known terror networks' digital activity. OGA will continue leveraging advanced ISR, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance methods, including low and slow aerial tactics to enhance signal acquisition. So there is word that the American and British government might be preparing to escalate our DEFCON status if actionable intelligence confirms a mass casualty weapon is on the loose. This is interesting too, because there's different sources that have seen escalations. We've talked about the Polish psychic Christoph. We talked about the remote viewing team. Again, there are different people that have been pretty accurate. Hey, Cliff High, it turns out he was pretty accurate, at least in seeing something that looks like it could be, an alien invasion. And then, got to give kudos to myself as well for having that vision back in 83 and 84 that I did share in a video from January of 2018. Multiple times that I saw something that looked like an alien invasion, and then I saw, the real attack on the U.S. in World War III after. So, again, this makes a lot of sense too. I do think that we're very, very close. Now, does this mean that they're going to strike us now, or is it going to be in the spring? Who knows? Because again, I think the the big determiner really is how fast people are waking up, and to some degree what the non-aligned extraterrestrials out there do. Because there are those that they're not part of the Galactic Federation. They're not part of the Draconian Reptilian Alliance, or those that we've also heard called the Orion Group over from some other sources. As you can see, a lot of people, their pineal glands are starting to awaken, and they can recognize when there's ships in the sky, and they're like, oh my God, do you see that? Oh yeah, more and more people every day are waking up.
And how they have been here all along. So that's the thing. I know I said a couple years ago, the reality of this world is that there is no veil. There's no veil. Everything that we are seeing has been there for a very long time, especially when we're looking at the clouds and we're looking at their ability to camouflage. They've been watching us for some time. It's just now is a point where they need something from us, or we need to do something for ourselves. So we're at this place of expansion, and it's really important for the controllers to make sure we don't expand too far.
Yeah, and then we have all this stuff coming out. So, more people have been picking up on weird things like this.
Oh my fucking God, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, a lot of people, this says hundreds of New Jersey residents now reporting their radios have been hijacked, producing strange, kind of demonic sounds, or sort of like, War of the Worlds type stuff. Very, very odd, very odd. And this is from Zeta Talk, which I just don't trust. I've never trusted Nancy Leader. I know a lot of people do follow her. Zetas, grays, there are some good grays out there, but the vast majority of grays that we encounter here on planet Earth are grays that are working for the reptilians.
I look at this and I don't see any of those things. I see a being that's able to change its form, that wants to change its form. I see a being that's a little bit of a show off. I'm not feeling a lot of divinity in it. But like we said, there's many different types of entities out here now. They've been sitting back watching for a very long time. And now, since we had that change in April, we're in a Bronze Age. So they're showing themselves.
Yeah, as you see, links to surviving the pole shift, and this is where a lot of our regulars we have a disagreement there, because we are not looking at the pole shift in that light. I think again they use the natural to take away from the technology that's really in play. So the saying that everything is just simply it's a natural cycle, it's coming about either from a 12,000 year cycle or 6,500 year cycle. And it's all really natural, and the elites know this, and they're just making their plans and distracting us. I don't buy that at all, because we could, again, remote view them directly. And from also the channeling that we get directly from the galactics. There are a lot of natural components to this, but it wouldn't be anywhere near as harmful as the reality. Again, we wouldn't have had all the flooding that we have. This is more of that, people getting the weird noises, weird sounds, just bonkers. Is that a little bit of a psyop going on? Is that? How about here? Pilots instructed to maneuver as necessary, avoid the UFOs out there. all altitudes, up and down. It's pretty crazy. Red circular shape, extreme speeds. Don't even know how fast. I can't describe how fast they're going. I was listening to that as well. And here's a daylight drone sighting as you see another type of shape up there. Again, I think what it does when we say, hey, it's all going to be because of the pole shift, it's saying that this is a natural thing. But in reality, these events, these redos, RESCTs, happen much more often, like every couple hundred years. So I think it's just simply it's another way they could catch people as they awaken. As you look at some real military drones, as they awaken up and they see patterns, or they're given information that ultimately comes from sources like NASA and NOAA. When we look at studies and stuff, when we look at ice cores and things, where do they ultimately come from? Well, this university, who donates to that university? It's the same old crew. It's the same old corporations. It's the same old lobbyists. It's the same old Big Brother system. And here you have a whole bunch of lights, middle of the ocean. This person's on a ferry, and then boom, where are these coming from? Well, under the ocean too. We could look back to Owans and Dagon. And meanwhile, the U.S. Department of Defense website just got hacked. No surprises there. Hey, the drone problem in New Jersey has been solved. Chris Christie is just hungry.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yes, those golden arches, the symbolism. Again, that's the type of stuff that we talk over on Patreon about. The Nanu, Mork from Orc stuff that, again, you want to avoid at all costs. In Appalachia, you can see there's still roads that are inaccessible or barely accessible, people living in tents, and billions of dollars go to death and destruction. And still, there is some true Christmas spirit, which it doesn't even matter as to the religious, quote-unquote, symbolism. It's just about sharing love and unity and peace and happiness together.
We're in that place where we really need to exercise these things and give each other grace and understand that we're all in a little bit of a different place. And, things are changing. They're definitely changing. So some people have been up on it and some people have not. So, yeah, let's just kind of be there for each other in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I think this says kind of everything, because you would think if you see 6 to 8 inches of snow on the tracks and a train coming in, you might realize you might actually even be in danger beyond just simply the fun of getting pelted with snow. Yeah, but yet humanity, so much of it is just standing there staring, doing their selfies.
Yeah, they're just doing their selfies and they're just, it's this cognitive dissonance. Like, it's okay. There's nothing's going to happen to me.
It's truly an awakening in the zombie apocalypse, because, that is kind of the next stage. Again, Patreon for more details.
Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.